It has happened again. The 15th of April 2020 floated a dark cloud over pro wrestling circles. That day, WWE released no less than 31 wrestlers and members of staff in a mass exodus that became known as Black Wednesday. Top names like Kurt Angle and Roosev were amongst those let go, and so were long-term employees such as Mike Chioda, Billy Kidman and more. 1 year on, WWE has scrapped another batch of workers. This time, they're all actual wrestlers, and Twitter has gone wild over some of them. Samoa Joe is clearly the biggest release, but the women's divisions on Raw, SmackDown and NXT just shed 4 well-liked females, 3 of which appeared to have bright futures if they could only stumble upon the right. This isn't necessarily the end of their wrestling journeys though. Many of the names released will find work in AEW, New Japan, Impact, ROH, the NWA and beyond, especially if things start to calm down pandemic-wise and proper shows start up again in front of live crowds. Here's every name WWE has let go during this post-WrestleMania 37 window. Good luck to all of them as they join the job hunt going forwards. Number 9. Wesley Blake. Jackson Ryker is now the only ex-Forgotten Sons member remaining in WWE. Steve Cutler was let go in February, and his partner Wesley Blake has just followed him out the exit door. That's remarkable when one considers that the Suns' problems only started due to Ryker's outspoken nature on social media when it came to sensitive, non-wrestling matters. Blake, alongside Cutler, found a brief reprieve as one of King Corbin heavies, but WWE never seemed truly interested in making that work. In fact, Corbin's Goon Squad were only around for a few weeks before the idea was scrapped. Now, Wesley is a free agent. Of course, like last year, there's always a chance that the company will reconsider and bring some released faces back. Blake might not want to depend on that though, not when wrestlers have more options than at any point in the past 20 years. Number 8. Bo Dallas. Being honest, Bo Dallas is one of the least surprising releases on this list, if only because he has not been seen regularly since his old partner Curtis Axel left last year. The B-Team was really Bo's last hurrah in the promotion, and it was difficult to see WWE having another stab with him. It'd be interesting to find out what Bo's brother Bray Wyatt thinks about his release. Maybe he'd think it's pure business, or perhaps he'd be gutted for his sibling. This is not a great time to lose work, to be fair. Fingers crossed Dallas has something else lined up. He's another who could be brought back in some capacity a few years from now. There's a precedent for that sort of thing. The likes of Curt Hawkins, MVP, John Morrison and Carlito were all brought back as utility players, for example. Keep an eye on this one. Number 7. Callisto. Where did it all go wrong for a man once dubbed the next Rey Mysterio by WWE? Ex-United States champion and aerial specialist Callisto looked like a stick-on success story at one point in his company career. He couldn't really cut a coherent promo to save his life, which definitely held him back, but the man's in-ring skills more than make up for any verbal deficiencies. Sadly for the ex-Lucha House Party leader, character is king in WWE, and they clearly didn't think Callisto had much of one. Still, it's weird that his old running buddies Gran Metalik and Lince Dorado have managed to outlast him. They're hardly going strong, but at least they're on the roster. Would it be too bold to suggest that Callisto could hit up Japan for some matches in the future? Proving what he can do without WWE's topsy-turvy booking style might suit the masked man. He did, lest anyone forget, smash hit on the indie scene as Samurai del Sol, before signing in 2013. Number 6. Chelsea Green. This is a surprise. Chelsea Green inked a new 3-year deal with WWE just last month, and seemed to be well placed to have a good go at SmackDown relevance after recovering from a nasty wrist injury suffered last November. The shame here is that Green never actually got going on the main roster. Her blue brand debut was sullied by that aforementioned and nasty arm injury, but it did look like WWE might be willing to give her another spin soon. Nope, she's been released as part of these probably budget slashes the company now seem intent on when the calendar hits the 15th of April. It'd be cool to see Green link up with her real-life man Matt Cardona in Impact Wrestling. That's one suggestion, but she might fancy doing her own thing. Nobody's suggesting here that Chelsea can't carve her own path in the biz or stand on her own merits. Number 5. Tucker. Ex-Heavy Machinery powerhouse Tucker recently debuted a brand new look during that Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal on WrestleMania SmackDown. The writing was very much on the wall for him once he split from Otis last year though. WWE creative has had, well, nothing for him ever since. His heel turn felt random and his Fallout feud with Otis was suddenly cancelled without warning. After that, Tucky was totally absent from TV and looked like he was struggling to fight his way back onto WWE's booking sheets. He was arguably doomed as soon as Vince McMahon took a shine to Otis. Now, Tucker is gone. In fairness, it was hard to see where the guy slotted in on Raw or SmackDown. It's not really clear what WWE could have done beyond sticking him one of those odd couple tandems, with another going nowhere straggler. Let's hope Tuck finds a home again. Number 4. Nikki James. Nikki's second run with WWE lasted approximately 5 years. During the time, she aligned with Alexa Bliss, feuded with the likes of Becky Lynch, Bliss and others, and worked cameo spots in multi-woman matches like the Royal Rumble or other Battle Royals. The ride had to end at some point for the now 41-year-old. Mentioning James's age isn't meant as a slight. She's hardly old, and physically looks as fresh-faced as ever. Her spirits have also remained high on social media and in interviews whenever WWE life has been brought up. Hopefully, Nikki is content with everything she achieved in the promotion and just fancies another challenge. She's a mother, has always enjoyed projects outside of pro wrestling and should be fine and dandy. Someone who has been such an excellent servant and talented performer for so many years deserves that peace of mind. Number 3. Peyton Royce. Well, Peyton Royce gave it one last go. Her latest promo on Raw Talk in March was the ex-Iconic member's last-ditch attempt to convince WWE that she could be the focal point of its women's division on Monday nights. Frustration legitimately seemed to bubble to the surface when Peyton took the mic too, but her rant fell on deaf ears. WWE's creative team are the ones to blame for Royce's failings. What the hell did they think was going to happen when they ripped her from the side of regular partner Billie Kay and placed her in a random tag with Lacey Evans that went precisely nowhere? That idea sucked, and so did the lack of screen time for the personable Australian. The only small mercy is that Peyton's best mate has also been released. That, at least, means fans who felt shortchanged might get to see an Iconic reunion somewhere soon. Number 2. Billie Kay. Sometimes, it doesn't matter how hard you try. That's rather negative, but it's true. Billie Kay has bags of charisma, oozes energy and stole the scene whenever she appeared on SmackDown. Peyton Royce's old tag partner has the one thing most pro wrestlers lack. Kay has genuine comedic timing. She was like the female Santino Marella at times. Okay, so the whole resume thing WWE handed Billie on SmackDown recently blew chunks, but that wasn't due to any lack of effort from the lady herself. Actually, being fair, Kay made more of meager creative scraps than she had any right to. That will stand her in good stead when she inevitably moves on to another promotion. Do not be shocked if WWE come knocking at Billie's door a year or so from now. The writing staff really should have done more with the Iconics as a duo when they had both right under their noses. So much for that though, they couldn't see what everybody else could. Number 1. Samoa Joe. This is the release that knocked everyone on their asses. Samoa Joe seemed to have it made in WWE. Sure, he was probably never going to become world champion or get that run on top his 20-year body of work so richly deserved, but Joe had shown his adaptability by becoming a fine color commentator on Raw. Christ, the guy was just on hand to call some action in his poncho, as Tampa's stormy weather threatened WrestleMania 37 last weekend. Throughout, he was composed and professional alongside Michael Cole. Less than 1 week later, Joe's WWE career is no more, and social media can't quite believe it. Some fans even drooled about all the matches Joe could have, when it was announced that he was leaving the broadcast booth. It wasn't to be. Wrestling fans will have to console themselves with the thought that the 42-year-old may not be able to resist AEW if he's able to heal up from decades of in-ring punishment. It'll be must-see wherever he goes.
Oh, let me up with a bright smile on now. Put me in the dark, so won't get lost now. To the moonlight, I